This is Lions vs. Cowboys week, so in the comment section, I want you all to put hashtag FDC. Hashtag FDC. Let's get this video started. In today's video, we got a lot to go over. We're going to go over an odd trade idea from ESPN. It popped up. Other content creators made it. I read the article. I went through it. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this trade idea. Lions in Jacksonville. We'll get into that. Injury updates on Brian Branch and Frank Ragnow. How are they doing heading into this pivotal game on Sunday? Frank Ragnow did something hilarious to Lions head coach Dan Campbell. We're going to talk about that. Trey Wingo speaks on the Detroit Lions in a podcast on Locked On Lions. We're going to get into that. Let's start with Lions in Dallas. Lions 3-1 heading into this game. Right now, 7th best in the NFL offensively with 26 points per game. 10th best in the NFL defensively, allowing 20.5. You have the Dallas Cowboys 3-2. They're coming offensively, 23.4 points per game. That 15th in the NFL, 24.2, 24th in the NFL defensively. They are struggling on that point. And Lions, yes, they're traveling to Dallas. It's going to be a 425 game. Lions right now are favored by 3 points. The total over and under is 40.5. Take the over on this one. I don't need to do a full breakdown, so I'm just going to give you my win prediction right here. I have the Lions winning this game. They're the better football team. If you go roster, look at it, they're the better roster. Right now, they're healthier. They have a lot of players over there at Dallas right now on that defensive line that are dinged up and injured. The Lions overall are the better football team, offense and defense. Shown in the first couple weeks for the Dallas game that that Dallas can get ran over. The Lions are a running football team. I know Dallas was better the last couple weeks, but you ain't face a team like Detroit. So I have the Lions winning 34-23. In the comments right now, who do you got winning the game? Lions, put D-E-T. D-A-L if you have the Dallas Cowboys winning. Let's continue on here with Lions injury news, and we got great news for you on the injury front. And Dan Campbell spoke about Brian Branch and Frank Ragnow. I think that we had a few more injuries here early in the season that you look and hope for. Campbell said, look, I think everything happens for a reason, and it worked out for us. It was like, we're going to get Frank back, and I think, BB, it's in a good place, so it's good. And now here we go. Yes, the Detroit Lions are healthy for this game, and Frank Ragnow will be playing in this game. Brian Branch, unless something crazy happens before, will be playing in this game. Matter of fact, all the players on the active roster, or not IR or anything like that, were actually at practice. Doesn't mean everybody was doing a full practice, but the Lions are now healthy to this point. So it's great news heading into this big game. And if you look at the next 5 weeks, we're on the road 4 of them. Pivotal game here with Dallas, then obviously Minnesota. Huge game. It's good to be healthy at the right time. Want to know what's awesome about Frank the Tank Ragnow? What he did to Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell spoke, says, Campbell told a story on how Ragnow tried to prove his health ahead of the Seattle game. Though the center ultimately sat out the game, he went out of his way to prove his head coach that he was healthy. The head coach noted that it was playful interaction where the center tried to prove his strength in an effort to suit up. Last week, right before Seattle, I walked down here to talk to our trainer, and somebody punches me against the wall. Campbell explained on Lions flagship radio. And I'm not even paying attention because I'm looking at our trainer, and then I get punched again and realize it's Frank, and he's trying to show me that his pec is great. That's his way of telling me, look how strong I am. It's good, it's healed. He's a good mindset, and he wants to go. I tried to do a comparison with Frank the Tank Ragnow. You know, who do you compare Frank the Tank Ragnow to? And you look at players in the history throughout the NFL of players who are just how he's getting his attention is through punching him. is there's only one comparison I can come up with, and that is the Thing from Fantastic Four. I think Frank Ragnow is an absolute beast, and it's just hilarious that he attacks, he punches Dan Campbell, and that's his letting Dan Campbell know that I am good to go by punching him. Oh, man, you got to love Frank Ragnow. This guy is absolutely awesome. Frank Ragnow is the epitome of being a Detroit Lion. His leg could be, just broken, completely broken in a game, and somehow he's going to play through it. That's Frank Ragnow. And the idea of him going up to Dan Campbell and punching him to get his attention to let him know that he is healthy is hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. So, question for you, knowing this injury news: who do you got winning the game? DET if you have the Lions winning. DAL if you have the Dallas Cowboys. Now let's get into a crazy rumor that popped up yesterday on ESPN. We're going to get into it right now and give you my thoughts. And this came from Ben Solak from ESPN. As you know, the trade deadline is coming up, and a lot of videos are going to be about the trade deadline. Why? Because that's what's going on with the NFL. Jaguars got their first win of the season Sunday and may sit still subtracting when the trade deadline comes. Walker, the first overall pick in 2022, has had 2 splashy games this season and 3 complete blanks otherwise. He still isn't quite figured out with the Jaguars, but he has done enough, 5 sacks this season, to still fetch a solid pick or 2 in return. I know how the Lions would use him, a big base end mashing against the run and pushing the pocket opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, who was incidentally taken 1 selection after Walker in the 2022 draft, and that was his plan. Marcus Davenport was lost for the season with torn triceps in Week 4, and John Kaminsky, who is supposed to be a key rotational player, is also out for the year with the knee. The Lions are worryingly thin at defensive end. What would it take to get a Travon Walker to Detroit in this hypothetical trade scenario from ESPN? The Lions would be sending a 4th-round pick in 2025 and a 4th-round pick in 2026 for a player who's 6'5", only 23 years old, 272, the first overall pick the same year of Aiden Hutchinson, who has 5 sacks, 8 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, and 0 interceptions. Now, wow. Could you imagine getting Travon Walker for a 4 and a 4? I can't, because I think that's absolutely ludicrous that the Jacksonville Jaguars would do that. They're a dumpster fire of a football team, and no doubt about it, they could, who knows, they could trade a Travon Walker. But you're telling me, just a couple years ago, this guy's the first overall pick, and he's got 5 sacks, and we're going to get him for 2 4s. I think that would be ludicrous. I think you'd have to pay way more. He's 23 years old. You'd probably have to give up a 1st-round pick. Just coming off common sense here, we're a 2nd-round pick because he's so young. And that's exactly the type of player that he would be, like he said. The bull rush, bigger guy on the edge, the Marcus Davenport, that's exactly what he would be. Now, look, would I take a Travon Walker to the Lions? Heck yeah, I'd take a Travon Walker to the Detroit Lions. Who wouldn't do something like that? Who wouldn't want to get a pass rusher who is young? Opposite? Could you imagine what the Lions' defensive line would be? But I just cannot see any reasonable situation, any common sense situation, that the Jaguars would trade Travon Walker, and secondly, for such low of a price. So many other teams would be in on it. The price would just go up, because to find someone that's 23 years old, and he's still on his rookie deal, it just seems out of the realm of common sense and possibility. Would I do it? Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. There would be no thought process in there. If they offered Walker that type of deal, I would 100% take it. Not even in my question of my mind. So would you trade for Travon Walker for 2 4s, a 4 this year and next year in the draft? T for trade, P for pass. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Trey Wingo jumped on the podcast with Locked On Lions with Matt Derry over there. Go ahead and watch the video. Trey Wingo still believes that the Detroit Lions are the team to beat in the NFC, even though we're 3-1, and the Vikings are 5-0. And I concur with him 100%. I think we are the best roster in the NFC. I think we are top to bottom. I think we are the best football team. If we're not playing good and another team's playing great, yeah, we can lose a game. But generally speaking, if you're to go roster to roster, I do believe we're the best team in the NFC. Still, the Vikings are really good. We got to put our A game up. You got to put your A game up for every game. Even Dallas is going to play hard. The Lions are the team that people are chasing now. We are the team that they want to look at us and say, can we compete with this team? That's the Detroit Lions now. So this is just something that's going to be going on for a while, and every team's going to give us their best, but I think we're the best team, and I agree with Trey Wingo that we are the best team. And ultimately, in all honesty, it's going to be fun to watch the Lions win Dallas on Sunday. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm really excited. What do you guys think of this whole situation? Lions news, the injuries, Frank Ragnow, Travon Walker, trade idea from ESPN. Give me your thoughts all in the comments. Really curious to see your thoughts on this one. Hit that notification bell, subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest Lions news and rumors. Adios.